So this happened probably like, I want to say last summer, but Selena and I were at Silverwood. Selena's my wife. And
it's been in the hopper for a while.
Yeah. This has been a long time coming.
It's got to be a good story then.
Yeah, so we were at Silverwood and we were on a Ferris wheel, and like this was kind of towards the end of the day, and we're like going around, and in the distance there's this guy who has a camera or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's like taking pictures of us and like waving at us, and I'm like looking at Selena, I'm like, I don't know if this guy's taking pictures of us or whatnot, or I don't know if he's just thought he was like
looking around you.
Yeah, I thought he was doing something else. I don't know, but like I was like, man, we're pretty cute.
We must look pretty good up here.
And so
America's couple on the Ferris wheel.
Yeah, this guy's taking pictures of us, and like I think that like a few months before that, the winter before that summer, Selena and I were snowboarding, and some lady was like, "Oh, can I take your photo for you?" Because like Selena and I were trying to take a selfie.
Yeah.
And the lady was like, "Oh, can I take a photo of you guys?" And whatnot. So now come to Silverwood summer. This guy's taking a photo of us, and we're like smiling. This is going on for like 5 minutes, and I like look over at Selena. I'm like, "Man, people love taking photos of us. I don't know what the deal is." Anyway. Like, we're almost done, and I look, like, down because the, like, Ferris wheel's moving, and he's taking pictures of the people underneath, like, on the thing below us.
The car below you?
Yeah, and, like, it was so awkward, and we're like, oh, I think he's taking a picture of, like, the other people. And, like, we were, like, vigorously waving at him and stuff, so he had to see us and whatnot. So as soon as we got off that Ferris wheel, we, like, beelined it out of there. Like, so we didn't have to see him and stuff, and so now it's like an ongoing joke of like, oh yeah, people love taking photos of us.
Anyone with the camera pointed towards you, like, it's us.
Yeah, and like, oh, it's so cringy every time Selena and I like even mention that story to each other.
Yeah.
Like, each of us just get the heebie-jeebies because we're like, oh, I hate how cringy that was.
That's classic. Like, you think someone's like saying hi to you, and you're like, hey, and it's like, why are they? And then it's like, I'm just this middleman, and
not me. It was so awkward though. It was like, because he was not lit up with the photos, so he was like kept taking them, and I was like, oh man, this guy's taking a lot of
big
photos.
Camera,
like not a big camera, but like that camera.
DSLR, yeah.
So
jeez.
and
I had a thought that like maybe he was the Silverwood theme park like photographer, and he was just taking pictures of like people at the park having fun.
Yeah.
And so maybe it was just a random guy taking random pictures of you guys.
Another
random couple, you know.
Yeah, exactly. It was I was like, maybe this guy's a photographer who just wants to take photos. You know. But it was it was
he was
so
taking pictures
awkward.
of specific people.
Yeah.
And it wasn't you.
Yeah, it wasn't us. So not every single time like any photos ever happen, I'm like, man, people love taking photos of us.
Your wedding day, just saying that all day.
Yeah.
People love us. That's funny.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, welcome back to Breakfast Balls podcast. This is episode 2, and Giuliano in the first episode recapped his honeymoon, and I'm going to recap my honeymoon.
Your honeymoon without
a little less romantic.
Honeymoon without the old ball and chain.
Yeah, this is the honeymoon where I had fun on. See about the next one. No, basically what it was, just to kind of give like a recap of why I went on this trip. Basically, there's a podcast that the two of us listen to as well as a few others. And it's just it's a podcast like this, like just two guys talking about their lives. And it's been going on for like 4 years. And about a year ago, maybe like 8 months ago, they were like, hey, we want to do like a vacation with our fans. And so they talked about it for a while. They talked about like doing like a private island, whatever. It was going to be too expensive. They didn't want it to be like a fire festival type thing or like, or no.
It's crazy.
That's right.
Yeah, like I think there's a certain name for it, but I don't remember what it is.
Where people like end up like spending too much for not receiving enough, whatever. So they figured it out, and honestly, it was great. But basically, it was like 26 of us, I want to say. The only thing we have in common is like we listen to the same podcast, and which would be kind of like a red flag for most people on the outside, because it's like you're just going on a vacation like across the country with people you've never met, but the podcast they have is like a fairly small community of just like, I mean, people that share the same beliefs and share the same like principles and standards. Mm-hmm. And I mean, other than like my close family and friends, they're the only like random people who I would trust to like stay in a room with for 4 nights.
Yeah, and it is weird because it's like we're all strangers. Like,
it is a weird concept.
We only know a couple other people who listen to this podcast, like that were our friends beforehand and stuff, but like it's the type of people that you would go on a trip with mm-hmm. because I mean you all listen to this the same podcast and we all find it funny and stuff, and it's a really weird like unique dynamic.
Yes,
but maybe not weird, but unique dynamic, and I mean the trip sounded like a blast. I didn't go on it, but I'm excited to hear how it went. And
so basically, flew to Panama City, Florida, which for me is other side of the country. But it was just like jam-packed with like tons of activities. Unfortunately, it was raining all but one day. I flew in, it was Wednesday to Sunday, so I flew in like late Wednesday night. Had bad delays. Like Spokane to Panama City, there's only one airline that offers one flight a day. Jeez. And that flight goes through Dallas, Fort Worth with a 9.5-hour layover on American Airlines. And American Airlines like has their what's the word? Stereotype? I don't know. But people like badmouth it a lot. Mm-hmm. It was my first time flying it, so I was like, I will have like I've heard things about it, but I don't know. Maybe that's just I'll just go in with a clean slate. Yeah. And I landed in Dallas like right before what seemed like the worst thunderstorms the U.S. has ever seen hit. It was insane. I mean, it was like I was looking at the radar and it was just the biggest. It just went right through Dallas. Jeez. And like you look outside and it was one of those times where I look and I'm like, it couldn't possibly be raining harder than it is now. Yeah. Like this is as much possible rain as can come from the sky.
If it was any more, it'd be just like a body of water falling from the sky.
Yeah, it's like there's no way it can rain harder than this. We landed, and I didn't even know this was coming. Like we just landed, and then I go to my gate, and they're like, the captain like came out and made an announcement, and it wasn't like I really appreciated for the way he made the announcement because he was like, it was very transparent. Like he just said it as it was. He wasn't like, this is the captain, whatever. It was just like, okay, here's the deal, guys. They've completely shut down the airport. Like, they shut down the runway, everything. He's like, all the planes that were coming to land here are going somewhere else. All the planes that are sitting, waiting to take off are sitting, not moving, because they can't take off. Yeah. And every employee outside is inside. Like, there is nothing happening at this airport. Dang. So, like, you're stuck. Wow. And so, they delayed our flight. They kept delaying it. So I was supposed to land at like 3:30 and I got in I think at 8:30. Oh, wow. So jeez. That which like right away
they delayed it like 5 hours?
Yeah, it was I wrote down flight delayed 6 times, 3 gate changes, and it landed 5 hours late.
Oh my goodness. That's wild.
Yeah. And so which like right away it's like, oh yeah, American Airlines sucks, but it's like this was it's the weather. You cannot blame any airline. Yeah. And everyone around me, everyone on that flight was like, yeah, American Airlines sucks. And I'm like, any airline would have done this. Yeah. Like, this came from someone higher up. Like, the airport,
people,
I mean, whoever is way up top shut all this down, shut every airline down. You can't blame the airline.
That's not on an airline.
But just kind of funny. So, I don't know. It's like, sucky way to start the trip, but it was a little humorous. Like, all these people, it's like, do you understand? Like, the weather was out of everyone's control. Whatever. Classic.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah. But, so, I mean, despite all that, I kept texting the group. I was like, yeah, getting into this time now. And this time. And I was like, they, like, don't care. Whatever. I'm like, I'll just stop. Whatever. Yeah. But there was another guy coming from Dallas Loveland. And,
Dallas Loveland.
Speaking of honeymoon. But he was delayed. He didn't get in till after midnight. So.
Oh, wow.
Bad for him. I mean, I feel bad,
That's crazy.
So, but yeah, so finally got in and got an Uber to the house, which was like 40 minutes away. Uber driver was like kind of asking why I was there, and I was like, just like vacation with friends, whatever. when are you flying out? And he's like, oh, Sunday. He's like, Sunday and Monday morning, like 7 a.m. is like the worst time to get an Uber. So he's like, I'll give you my card. I'm like, okay. And I was like, I think they have like shuttles for all of us, but I'll take it, whatever. And, we both forgot about it 5 minutes later, and then I never got his card, which is perfectly fine.
Right? I feel like that always happens.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, let me give you my number, and they're like, okay, and then forget.
Yeah. We had another instance, like coming home. This other girl I was on the same flight to Dallas with, the same girl on the trip. Mm-hmm. And so we like come out of the Dallas airport. We both had a long layover, and there's a Uber driver standing right there. His name's Rocco, and he talked like it too.
That's funny.
Hey guys, what's up? My name's Rocco. And
that's hilarious.
That's not a great accent,
No,
but
it sounds like Rocco.
Yeah. Boston guy, and he just was like talking, and I mean classic like, oh, you two dating? And I'm like, no, like we just met like 4 days ago. He's like, oh, but you could be maybe eventually.
That's so
like
funny.
no,
That's
no.
so awkward.
Yeah, like classic one of these instances, and yeah, and then he like gave both of us his business card. Well, if you're ever in Dallas, I'll give you a ride. And I'm like, I am not gonna hold on to your business card.
Yeah, no kidding.
For when I randomly come to Dallas and ask for an Uber this way. Like,
that's pretty funny.
If I ask for an Uber, I'm gonna go in the app. I'm not gonna text you and be like, Uber?
Hey, Uber, I need you.
Hey, Rocco.
Yeah, gosh.
Yeah, it was funny.
He's gotta market himself.
Yeah, Uber drivers. Yeah, who knew they had business cards, right?
Yeah, I wonder how that works.
I know.
Like, is it like a taxi where you just like pay them?
Yeah, I wonder if it's something through Uber or if it's just their own thing. If they're like, I want more business.
Yeah, who knows?
But, anyways, yeah, got in late. Showed up, and I was just like finally like so relieved to get there. Went in and met everyone. Saw Jake, and I was like, great to see you, man. Yeah. Jake and Brad are the two hosts.
Yeah.
And so I saw Jake again, and then finally met Brad, and they were playing a whole bunch of games. Then, like, right away, I'm like, I want to eat, whatever, get settled in. They had goodie bags for us, which were, like, they had them embroidered with our names and then the name of the podcast. They gave us, like, a pickleball paddle. I think I told you some of this stuff.
Yeah.
Just, like, some stuff.
Did they give it to you, like, right as soon as you got there?
It was on my bed when I went down.
Oh.
So like everyone else got theirs when they got there. One thing that was in there was like a schedule that Brad wrote up for the whole week I don't think anything stuck because it changed. I mean, as the day was happening because of the weather.
Oh yeah.
Because it was like, oh, it's a nice day. We're going to the beach today because it's the only nice day.
Yeah.
But then I was like trying to eat, and then someone's like, oh, we're going down to the beach. You want to come? And I'm like, yeah, sure. And so we I'll start walking down, and right away there was this girl who I think I've told you about before, but she was already trying to start drama.
Gosh.
And she was already asking me a bunch about my family because she had seen some pictures on my Instagram.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, and
weird.
it was
Stalker.
still I was still in this headspace of I just met these people.
Yeah.
So I was like, how do you know all this? And I was like, oh, you follow me on Instagram, right? And I was like, what do I have on Instagram that she saw? And it was just this weird I knew that she knew some things about me, but there was also this other side of me that was she is a stranger. But I'm like, well, she's not. It was just weird. I was trying to figure it out in my head. I'm like, this is weird. I don't know.
Yeah, that is wild.
Yeah. But, yeah, she was, but there was it was something she asked, they asked this other guy, hey, do you want to come down to the beach? And he was like, no, I'm playing this game, whatever. I won't come now. And so she's like, wasn't that weird? He was just didn't want to come to the beach. He was avoiding it. And I was like, I mean, it was he was playing another game.
Yeah.
He could say no.
Yeah.
And
how dare he say no to me?
I was right off the bat. I was just I am very my mind was just so confused. I was like,
oh gosh,
this is weird. I'm I've had a long travel day. I'm all out of it. I'm trying to figure all this out. It was
those people are the worst.
It was a weird mental thing going on right away.
Yeah. Are you a pretty cranky traveler or
no?
Maybe not cranky,
I don't think
but just I don't know. When I was traveling, Celine said I got pretty cranky, and I mean I did. I got I wasn't cranky, but I was just
hangry.
Yeah, I guess I was a bit hangry. And, I don't know. Just short.
Yeah. I don't know because I don't really think so, but I travel mostly by myself, so
That's true.
I'd honestly like have to travel a few times with someone, or at least once, and to ask them whatever. Yeah. But I don't think I really do. For the most part, I'm like even all the delays, like I was just like, yeah, it happens. It's weather, whatever.
Yeah. That's
you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then we walked on the beach, pitch dark, which was still cool. But I was like,
nighttime
yeah.
Okay.
I think I got to the house by like 9:30. Sun's well set, and yeah, so we like walked down probably after 10, and so it was like, yeah, cool, because it was like, oh, we're like on the ocean. This is the Gulf of Mexico.
Oh, nice.
But I'm like, I won't be able to see like it in the sunlight till tomorrow.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like two like revelations or whatever. The first one was like, finally at the ocean.
Yeah.
But then it was like, oh, the sun's out. Now I can see it.
Yeah. That's funny.
But yeah, so we did that. We all they were like trying to take selfies, and this guy had like a Samsung phone, and he's like, no, it like takes really good night pictures, but they were all like horrible, like blurry, like making us look like ghosts. And I was like,
funny.
Try one on my phone. Like I don't think iPhone cameras are as good as Samsung, but like I've done a few, and like they're pretty good. So like we could just try one. But I did it like, I was like, here, I'll just take a quick one. I just did it like this, like as I was moving, and it like got some like weird picture of someone's face.
That's
and
funny.
it just like didn't look good. And I was like, yeah, see, it looks great.
That's pretty funny.
But yeah, so we hung out for a bit, and
kind of side note.
Yeah.
I saw a Samsung phone yesterday. I think it was a Samsung phone.
Uh-huh.
It wasn't an Apple phone. And there's only Samsung and Apple, so.
Yeah.
But it had like 5 cameras on there.
Oh,
I was like,
yeah.
how many do you need?
Yes, I've seen those.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, it really makes me wonder how many, what they all do.
Yeah.
Because.
Yeah, I was wild. I was like, I was blown away.
Yeah. This was the picture I took.
That's really funny.
I was like, see, it takes great pictures.
Yeah.
I'll put it up on the YouTube maybe if I remember.
If he remembers.
17 minutes. But yeah, we hung out for a bit there and then walked back. One thing, Brad was like, it's like a 3-minute walk to the beach. You just like go down, take a right, we'll take a left, whatever. And so we're walking down to the beach, and everyone's like, yeah, he said just like a 3-minute walk. And I'm like, resourceful, pull out my phone. I look where the beach is, and I'm like, it's further than 3 minutes. And I'm like, yeah, we got to go down to this street and then down this street, and we're there. And because there's like public access, you can't just walk through someone's yard to get there. And so everyone, I'm with like 5 other people, and everyone is kind of borderline freaking out. Like, where do we go? Like, where's the path? And I'm like, guys, I pulled it up.
Technology.
Like, we just walk here. I can see it here.
Yeah.
And I was like, truly, I mean, it was almost frustrating. I was like, guys, like, have you used a phone before?
Yeah.
I'm sorry to be like that guy who's like always on his phone or whatever, but I'm like, I found it. We can. I figured it out, guys.
We don't need to panic.
Yeah, it was weird, but it was also funny. Like it was dark, so they were kind of freaking out in that way. This one girl thought we were gonna get murdered, just the whole time. Mm-hmm. At one point, like we're walking back. I think it was 3 of us walking, and this guy is walking, and we're walking down the middle of the street, and she's like, get over. She gets way over to the side, and I'm like, he's not gonna hurt us.
Yeah, he's probably worried that you guys are going to hurt him.
And as we're getting closer, she goes, we're not going to murder you, I promise. And he just kind of awkwardly laughed, and I'm like, why would you say that? Yeah. That's the one thing you don't want to say.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like,
some people. That's pretty funny though.
But anyways, yeah. Walked to the beach, whatever. Hung out. Everyone was just like playing games, getting to know each other, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, that was basically the first day. Next day we had I think we got up at like 6 or 7 to go play golf. It was like a 45-minute drive. This place called Niceville. And
Niceville.
From what I saw, it was pretty nice, except
original.
That it was right.
Sounds
like something out of a movie.
This is pretty nice. What should we name this?
Like the Lorax, like Niceville. It sounds like something out of an animated movie.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
But we were like driving through the rain there, and I mean, it was thunderstorms. Like the forecast said thunderstorms the whole time we were going to be playing, or at least like rain.
Oh yeah.
We walk in, and the guy was like mad we were there. he was like, hold on, before you pay. And he flips over his computer screen. He's like, look at this. And we're like, oh, yeah, okay. And he's like,
bro.
you want to play around? And, you know, Jake flew his golf clubs in, which can't be cheap.
Yeah.
We all, like, this wasn't the reason we were on the trip, but, like, we drove 45 minutes to go play. Mm-hmm. We had plans on Thursday morning to play golf. So it was like, yeah, we'll play, like, rain or shine. Yeah. You know. And so I was like, yeah, we'll play. And Laura, who came, and she was like, I think I'll play 9 holes. And she was like, do you want to play 9 with me? And I was like, at first I was like, yeah, okay. But then everyone else was doing 18, and I was like, okay, yeah, I'll do 18.
Yeah.
I don't want to miss out, whatever. So.
And it's not like she was leaving after the 9.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
She was going to be
so
there.
Like, yeah, you're still tagging along. I was like,
you might as well.
I don't want to sit and just watch. Like,
yeah, you're still going to be in the rain.
Yeah, like. exactly. So. It was 4 on 3. We just did like scramble, whatever. Jake carried our entire team. I mean, do you want to answer? Do you want to wait?
I'll probably answer it.
Okay, go ahead. Okay, we're back.
Okay.
Giuliano had to take a call.
Sorry.
Business.
It was
strictly business.
Nothing personal, this business.
Anyways, where was I? The trip, golfing.
Golfing, yeah.
Jake is a very good golfer, so we used most of his shots. Mm-hmm. I will proudly say that I had one like very good chip where right away like he like grabbed my shoulders. He was like, "Dude!"
Doesn't that feel so good when you have like such a nice hit? And you're like, "Oh, I'm the best golfer there is."
Like all the layers, like such a good hit, but then it is with like 3 other people.
Yeah.
You know, who are pretty much strangers. Mm-hmm. One of which is like a very good golfer who like I look up to as a very good golfer.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, he was hyped like for my hit. Oh, it felt good. It felt great.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it was like I don't know if I was the last one to hit, but it was like, oh yeah, we're using yours. Like no one else needs to hit.
Yeah, because you guys were doing the scramble. Yeah.
And so that felt good. I also had my first bunker shot of the day. Of my life. Yeah. And he was like, you know, hit it like an inch behind the ball. I was like, all right, you know, I'll just try it. Like, first one ever. Mm-hmm. And it was probably like 15, 20 feet from the hole. And like, it rolled up and rolled within a few feet. And he was like, nice. And I was like, that was the first one ever. And I was like, this is easy. And then, you know.
Like, the sand traps.
I want to land them.
Yeah. Give me them.
But, and then I think I had like one good putt that was like, I don't know, maybe 8 or 10 feet that went in, and so that I felt good about that, you know. Yeah. But it was. I mean, we were the only ones on the course. Mm-hmm. We truly didn't see anyone else the whole day. I think it was raining the whole time, like light rain. A few minutes, a few different times. It was just like pouring rain. Oh, so we like kind of sit under, and it's like, well, I guess it's not passing. I'll go hit.
Yeah. Were you guys like the only ones on the course?
The only ones. Yep.
Nice.
There were, you know, the few employees at the clubhouse, but no one else playing.
Dang.
But we. So it was. Then I mean, the weather like didn't dampen it at all. Like we still had a great time.
That's actually kind of nice being the only ones on the course because like you don't have to worry about people behind you or anything like that.
It was great. So. I love that.
Yeah.
Because it's like nice. It's like hit another ball. Like we have no one waiting on us.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
And it was a really nice course, like kind of surrounded by houses. We were told that one of the holes on the back 9 had either a crocodile or an alligator. I don't know the difference. And I was really excited to see it. And I was like, honestly, I just kept talking about it. I'm like, I can't wait to see this. And Jake's like, yeah, I really want to see it. And never saw it, and I was really disappointed because I'm like walking over to the water, like dangerously close to the water, and I'm I want to see this thing. And never did.
To come out and bite you.
Yeah, I want to experience Florida. Never did. That was a little disappointing, but that's okay.
Bummer.
But yeah, I mean, and then like the sun came out a few times, whatever. But it was a nice course. There was one that was like the green was right up on the edge of the water. It was so cool.
Dang.
Awesome. We said a few times like I kind of want to come back and play this like in nice Florida weather because it would be beautiful.
Oh yeah.
And like he saw it. Jake read a bunch of reviews that like. Really like the course was not great.
Oh really?
But he was like, I think it's fine. Like it doesn't look that bad, and it's fine for like our level.
Yeah.
But it was like, this is great. Yeah. I don't know why people say it's so bad.
Maybe it's just compared to like the Spokane courses we played at.
Yeah, or maybe compared to other Florida courses.
Oh maybe.
I don't know. Maybe the crocodile was a big thing.
Yeah.
But one funny thing from what?
Is it Reginald?
One funny thing from the whole time golfing, the four of us. I was on the team of four, and so we had 2 carts. I was in the cart with Laura, and we rented a bag of clubs, and the 2 of us split it, and like the driver, the 3-wood, the 5-wood, and the putter all had covers, and we lost the covers 3 or 4 different times during the whole round. Dang. And it was hysterical because it was like, okay, you go out, hit your first shot, and then we get to the ball, and I'm like, do you have the cover for this? And she's like, no, I thought you did, whatever. Okay. And I'm like, oh, it's back there. And so I think the first time we lost it, she wasn't playing anymore, so I was like, I'll hit, you go back and grab it. So she goes back, whatever. Okay, we got it. Fine. Nice. Lose it again. Lose a different one. And I'm like, and then I was like, okay, I know this one was you because like you hit whatever. Yeah. And so then I'll go back and look. So she goes in, and like we kept losing. I was like, oh god, this is stupid. That's so annoying. And then the other guy that was on our team in a different cart, he kept dropping his, but he would be walking away from the green, and I'm like, hey, your cover. Oh, yeah. And so like he never truly lost his because I'm like, why can I not remember mine? Because we would always set it right on top of the bag, so as soon as we start driving, it just flies off. Yeah, yeah. And we eventually lost it on like the 16th hole maybe. Dang. And so I'm like, no, it wasn't, because it was one of the last, maybe it was the 18th hole. Mm-hmm. And like the driver, the 3-wood, whatever. So I'm like, all right, I'll keep playing, you go find it. Yeah. So she goes driving back, and she, I think, drove back like a few holes to find it. Dang. Maybe drove the whole back 9. Oh my goodness. And like our path to go find it, and never found it. So then like we go back to the clubhouse, and he's like, I turn in the clubs, and he's like, okay. He's like, you're missing a cover? I'm like, yeah, we dropped it on the course, so she went back to go find it. He's like, and I was, I'm like, if she can't, like, we'll pay. He's like, yeah, it's $15. And I'm like, all right, if she can't find it, we'll pay it. And then she came back and was empty-handed. Oh, and I was like, dang it. And that's a bummer. So then we had to split that cost as well. Yeah. But I was like, something like, going forward, I'm like, I don't want covers on my golf clubs because I will lose them.
Dude, they are like, I have a cover on my driver and on my putter. Yeah. And, I mean, sorry, Isaiah, because he got them for me, but they're like so annoying to take on and off every single time. Yeah. I like the covers, it's just like, they're annoying to take on and off. So, yeah, I mean, I get it for people who are like, I don't want to scratch up my golf
protect
clubs
them because they're hitting each other or whatever.
Yeah, because they have nice clubs and whatnot. And I think, in the future when I get nice clubs, I'll probably put covers on some. Yeah. Now, I mean, I'm gonna keep my covers on now, but for our clubs, since we have we bought on Facebook Marketplace and stuff, we do not need
That's
covers.
True. Yeah, save them. Yeah, lock those things
away. New golfers, Anyway, so it's pretty annoying to take them on and off every time.
It was so hysterical how much we were losing them. I'm like, this is ridiculous. And Jake's like laughing at us. I'm like, well, this is like not a good impression. Like, I'm
Jake,
a better.
This is not me.
Kind of is because I'm so forgetful. But yeah, golf was a great time. Great time, even though the weather was bad. And we won by 1 stroke to beat the other team. So
was Jake on the other team?
The Jake was on our team. The other team was Isaac, Jensen, and Gabe.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Isaac calls a lot, so.
Yeah, I've always wondered. I don't think he's as good as Jake, but he's got to be decent. But anyways, they also just the whole weekend they had this rubber band game. Basically, you show up to the house, you get 1 rubber band. Mm-hmm. It's on your wrist, and while it is on your person, it is yours, no one else can take it, whatever. If you see any rubber bands laying around, they're free game. Anyone can take them. Yeah. They're hiding them all over. They're going to play games where you can win them. And at the end of the weekend, whoever has the most, basically they just go in order, whoever has the most down the list. And they had a treasure room that had up to $1,200 worth of stuff. Dang. And just first person goes in and gets to choose something, then the next, then the next. Dang. So they had this game the whole weekend. And, I was pretty good at finding ones that were hidden. I would just kind of be walking around. I wasn't in groups as much. I was just would kind of be in and out, whatever, kind of doing my own thing or in a small group. So I was kind of more observant, which is that's kind of me. I'm just very observant. But I'd just be walking by and see one, whatever. But the house, huge house, and the upstairs kitchen, dining room, living room had like 20-foot ceilings, whatever.
Oh, dang.
So the kitchen has cupboards that go that high.
Yeah.
And so we're just like in the living room talking, and I look over, and there's a cupboard, and the handle for it is a little knob, and the knob is like, I had to stand on a counter, and then like I'm 6 feet tall, so it was probably like 10 feet up, or maybe even 11 or 12 feet up. There's a rubber band on the knob.
Oh, wow.
And so we're sitting in the living room, and Brad's there, and Brad hit it.
Oh, yeah.
And I just like get up. We're just mid-conversation. I just get up, walk over, hop on the counter, grab it, and
nice.
Brad's like, yeah!
That's
and like
funny.
Brooks, who was our chef,
yeah,
he and Brad's brother-in-law, he's like, nice, dude. And he's like, Brad was standing here for the longest time just like shooting that thing, like trying to get it stuck.
That is so funny.
So like I was finding them that way, just like randomly, which like it's kind of cool because they're like, yeah, we're gonna have like a bunch of games where you can win them, and I wasn't like really playing those games. I don't know if I played hardly any.
Oh yeah.
We played like games in the pool. I think that next day, Thursday, we played like games in the pool where like they had a football, they had a volleyball, they had like this little squish pool ball, whatever. You're just like throwing them and trying to catch them as you jump in, whatever.
Were you doing that a lot, like jumping in?
I did it a few times, but I don't think I did much. Where they like throw you like 4 balls and you have to catch the one that they yell.
Dang.
And then someone went up to the second floor balcony and was like throwing them from there. And then there was a challenge of like trying to throw the ball back to him where like he is straight up from you.
Like you catch it and then throw it back?
Yeah. Or it's like, you know, they're throwing them to like people in the pool, but now you have to get the balls back to him. Yeah. So now you're just trying to throw them like straight, like 80-degree angle up.
Yeah.
And then like frisbee, so I was trying to throw that thing up, and so that was fun.
Dang.
And they're like, there's the pool and the hot tub, and they had these pipes on the wall where water was just spilling out, and they were trying to throw this tiny like squish ball into it.
That's funny.
And there was this girl, Courtney, who like is the most athletic, most fit person, and she was doing all this jumping in, whatever. And I think she was the first one to like throw it in the pipe.
Oh, nice.
She was good at it. She had a good arm too.
That's crazy.
The next day we were at the beach and like they were playing the frisbee game where you have the bottles on the sticks.
Oh yeah.
And so she was on a team with her husband, and she was, you know, you're kind of like throwing the frisbee, but she was throwing it like she was trying to chuck,
zipping it in there,
trying to knock you out.
Dang.
And they're like, "Is this legal? Like, I guess you could throw it however hard you want."
Yeah. And
it was pretty funny. She's just zipping it.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's wild.
That's so one thing like the rubber bands, Isaac was helping hide them, and he got a bag of Cheetos, and he cut it open very carefully, put rubber bands in, and then sealed it up with I think curling iron.
Oh yeah.
And
gosh, genius.
Yeah, and like we were sitting there, we had finished eating whatever, and they're like making an announcement, and then Isaac's like, "And there's Cheetos here if anyone wants them." I was like, "Okay."
Was it like just awkward at first? Like how long did it take for people to like catch on?
They didn't catch on right away. Everyone was like, "Okay, whatever." Yeah, there's Cheetos. It's like, oh, there's always the chips that like are always left.
Why do you choose Cheetos? Because I feel like people don't like Cheetos.
That's the thing.
In my head, it's like
why do
people like Cheetos?
Yeah,
or not why I get, but like I would put them in like Doritos or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That's
I don't know how people feel about Cheetos. But
But yeah, it was one of the bags left sitting there, and he was like, "Yeah, you wouldn't want Cheetos," and I was like, "All right." And then like 10 minutes later, he like brought it up again, and Jake is like laughing because he knows what it is.
Yeah.
And I think by that time, like people like kind of go over and then like everyone scrambled when they knew there was a rubber band.
Yeah.
And it was only in one bag.
Yeah.
But and that like makes sense to the second story where like I was in the guys had a shared bathroom and there was a curling iron in there, and I'm like, which guy is using a curling iron? I think it was
funny.
I think it was a curling iron or a hair straightener. I think it was a curling iron.
That is pretty funny.
And I'm like, who? And I kind of was like looking at everyone like, none of them have curly hair. And so then like knowing it was that, I'm like, oh, it was so Isaac.
That's hilarious. The fact that he like Isaac did that and he didn't even like return that.
Yeah, he just left it in there for a while.
Left it in there.
Yeah, it was funny. But yeah, so golf Thursday, and then later we played games in the pool. They played Simon Says too. So everyone's standing up, and Jake's like, was basically what he was doing was like, okay, Simon Says, put your right hand up. Okay, Simon says, put your left hand up. Okay, put your right hand down. It's like, oh no, Simon didn't say it, you know. Yeah. So he's doing that, and like, I got out right away on one of those. I'm like, I'm better than this.
Yeah.
So like people.
We do everything.
Yeah,
you got this.
Yeah. So then like, it goes kind of quickly. They give some rubber bands to the winner. So everyone, okay, redemption, we'll do it again. And then, yeah, I think he was doing them like kind of quick, like, it was mostly just hand up, hand down, legs, whatever.
Yeah.
And stand on one leg, whatever. And I got out like fairly quickly again. Yeah. But then they had like the 5 finalists, whatever, and he was going like really quick. And they were all on top of it, and he was like, okay, I need to like come up with something else.
Yeah.
And I forget what he did after that to like eliminate the winners. It was like these 2 people switch places, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And a few times it was like kind of confusing where it was like, they're like, wait, who'd you say switch places? And they're like, can we move? I don't. And they were like, kind of. He's like, I'm sorry, scratch that, whatever.
That's really funny.
But they also did these games like, they had these like kids puzzles that were like 4 by 4 inches and like 20 pieces, 16 pieces.
Oh yeah.
And just like a race 1-on-1 to see who could do it first. So they would like let you look at it and then flip them over. All the pieces are upside down, and then like, okay, go. And Jake goes, puzzle time. And they like scramble to get them done. And at first, actually, it was 2-on-2.
Oh, wow.
And so it was like, okay, the 2 guys from the guys' room and 2 guys from the girls' room. And then it was like this couple over this couple. Mm-hmm. And it was kind of like a kind of tournament.
Oh, yeah.
And then it became 1-on-1 where it was like Catherine, everyone was trying to beat Catherine.
Oh.
And then someone beat her, so then everyone was trying to beat her.
Oh, yeah.
So
that sounds like a lot of fun. That's good ideas for games.
Yeah. Honestly, they're great at coming up with games.
Yeah. Dang.
But basically, that was all Thursday. We also filmed the Gene Shorts video.
Oh,
which was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I think you've seen that,
yeah. Yeah, I saw it. It was pretty funny.
Yeah. Friday, we finally had some nice weather. Sun was out. It was like Florida weather.
Nice.
So we all drove to play pickleball. And like funny, like everyone's kind of getting together. Okay, we're all going to leave soon. And I'm like, I'm going to run to the bathroom real quick. And I'm passing Jake and Rachel. Rachel is his now wife. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I look them in the eyes and I'm like, do not leave without me. I'm going to use the bathroom. They're like, okay.
Yeah.
And then like I come up and everyone's gone. I'm like, where'd they go? And Brooks is like, are you going? I'm like, yeah. He's like, you better hurry. And I'm like, I literally looked Jake in the eyes and said, do not leave without me. So then I run out there and I think I didn't ride with Jake. I rode with someone else. Yeah. But I saw him later. I'm like, dude, I literally told you. He's like, I'm so sorry. I forgot. And then Rachel, so like, same thing. She was like, I'm sorry.
That is hilarious.
Yeah.
Wow.
But we, they had, like, a minivan, and there were, like, I think 10 of us in there. So me and this other guy were in the trunk of a minivan with other stuff in there. Like, I mean, just, like, we were both, like, fairly tall guys. Yeah. And both of us back there just scrunched up. Drove to the pickleball courts, and it is flooded with 30 people, 30 like older people.
Oh my gosh.
And
dang.
So we like get out, I'm like, I need to stand, so whatever. Yeah. And then I like jumped to another minivan where I was the only one in the back.
Oh, nice.
But and then we basically like pickleball was full, so we ended up just going back to the house. We went to the beach, played volleyball for a while, then like frisbee, spike ball, swimming in the ocean, whatever.
Sounds pretty fun.
Played that like frisbee bottle game.
Oh yeah.
And then that was the day I got the bad sunburn.
Yeah, it was
horrible. I use some sunscreen, but I think there's a few theories. I sunburn very easily. It was also spray on sunscreen, and I think a lot of it like blew off as I was spraying it. I also think I should have just reapplied like 8 times because
probably bad
sun.
Yeah, I mean the whole like reapplying thing. It's like I know we should do it, but like. I can barely remember to put on sunscreen the first time.
Yeah. Well, and like you do all this like prep work to go to the beach, and then it's like, okay, now I'm here having fun.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to like go. It's just it's so much work. I feel like
it really is.
I don't want to do this.
Yeah. It's something we should do. It's just like I don't want to do it.
Well, and then I heard someone recently was like, well, actually, there's stuff in sunscreen that makes you sunburn more. I'm like, of course there is. Like,
yeah, I don't know how true that is, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah,
that's the whole like cough drops are addictive and stuff. And like, I don't know. It's those things where it's like I'm not surprised because I don't even know what they're putting in that type of stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
But
yeah, beach was a lot of fun. We were just running around. Eventually, I was like fairly tired, whatever, and so we had a golf cart that we were using to drive to the beach, but we couldn't park it there, and so eventually I just became the shuttle service. Like people are like, I need a ride, whatever, back and forth, and
I guess a golf cart.
Yeah, that's it was one of like nice ones that has like holds like 6.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, and but one thing that like became my job. Our driveway was very long and narrow with like 9 cars parked in it. And like the 4th car in had to get out because they didn't go to the beach.
Yeah.
And so we're up there like looking at the cars like, okay, whose car? Okay, that's Lisa's car. She's at the beach. Okay, we need to find out where her key is. We need to find out whose car is that. We need to find out whose car that is and where the key is. So then it was like, I was calling everyone. Like I called Jake and he answered it on his watch while he was playing volleyball. Oh, yeah. He's like, this first call I've answered on my watch. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry.
That's funny.
And so I like went around like getting everyone's keys and like moving all these cars. And then they got out and then we moved them all back in.
Nice.
And so that's what I did, because I was tired of being at the beach.
Yeah. That's funny.
But one thing, like, I was going down to like get rides for people, and while we were waiting for people, I was riding with this other girl, Michaela, and I look over at this like railing on someone's porch, and there's literally, I kid you not, I have a video of a lizard like doing push-ups. Like he's laying on the porch like doing push-ups.
So funny.
And I was like, oh my god. And I was like,
really funny.
I was like, look. And I took a video and I think I sent it to the group chat or I put it in our shared album.
Yeah.
It was like, I have to show you the video, but it is no joke doing push-ups.
That's really funny.
Yeah. But, and then that night we had a sunset cruise. Just like drove around this port. I think it was like 2 hours long. One thing, like, it was just like super packed, and it was like everyone's gonna be standing, but they don't let you stand. They're like, you need to hold on to something, or you gotta sit.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, they way overbooked this. But like the captain gets up there and she's like, okay, are any of you on the 6:15 flight or 6:15 boat? Yeah. This is the 6 o'clock, and it's like, oh, half these people are gonna get off.
Yeah.
And this group of like 6 girls gets off, and I'm like, are you kidding me? That's it?
Gosh.
And but. One thing that was on the cruise. I wonder
if there was more people that like were on the 6:15. They're like, we can just go now.
Yeah. One thing that was on the cruise that was pretty funny was, this girl. There was like these middle-aged, maybe in their 40s, like 5 women, and this one woman was taking so many selfies of herself.
Gosh.
I mean, at one point, like down below was the bar and then the bathrooms, and I was sitting on the like bench and I looked down and it was classic, like she was like way up here like this, and then she like looks at the picture and then like does another one and she did that for 60 seconds straight.
Oh my god.
And I was like, and then and it was like she's like trying to fix her smile and then she like looks and like,
she's like, oh, that one's ugly too.
And I was like, oh man, this is funny.
Gosh, that is pretty funny.
But we were like, it was funny because we're going around and they see dolphins and everyone's like, oh my gosh, dolphins.
Yeah.
And it's these 2 dolphins perfectly spaced like a little bit off and like kind of coming out of the water very slow. And then they go back down.
What the heck?
And then like they come up and they're perfectly in sync. They're going super slow. And I'm standing next to Jake and I'm like, these look like they're on a track. Like they don't, like they're too perfect.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, how do we know that's not like a diver in there with a fin on his back?
Oh, yeah.
And
that's really
like,
funny.
Honestly, I'm not fully convinced that they were real dolphins.
That's
pretty
funny.
But
dang,
it was pretty funny. And then like towards the end of it, they're like coming up to this like beach, which is not where we were going to land or whatever the word is. I don't know. Dock. Thanks. Yeah. But there's a few deer. And people freaked out way more for the deer than they did the dolphins.
They're not used to deer.
Yeah. And it was like, I'm like, deers came through my parents' backyard all the time when I was a kid.
Yeah.
But it was pretty funny. Everyone's freaking out. I think they were throwing like Cheeto Puffs to them or something.
Oh, really? Yeah. That's pretty funny. Did you guys like dock there and everybody get
off
the sea?
They pulled up really close to it, but then they just backed out and left.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. But that was Friday night. Saturday, it was raining again, so we were inside for a bit. They recorded the podcast.
Nice.
I think it was just kind of like chill. Oh, some people went and got acai bowls in the morning. I was bugged a lot. Like, are you gonna do this? Are you gonna play this game? And I'm like, no, I'm fine.
Yeah.
And like, there was this one person specifically like, like, you're not having any fun. Like, and I was like, this is just, like, my style. I'm having fun watching everyone play this, like, crazy card game or this whatever.
Yeah.
As much fun, watching as you guys are playing. Yeah. But I'm like, and there was this other girl who was like, I'm on vacation and my vacation mode is to chill.
Yeah.
And so that's what she was doing a lot. And I'm like, same. Like, I'm having fun, but I'm just like, I'm also very badly sunburned and don't want to walk anywhere or whatever.
Yeah.
But
like, let me be.
Yeah. But yeah, truly, I mean, like, I was limping everywhere. To the point where people are like, what's wrong? And I'm like, the sunburn. Remember? You were there.
That's funny.
And
like, everything hurts.
Yes. Yeah. But that night we had a crawfish boil. Which is very cool because, like, a huge pot, they're boiling all these, like, they dump them in live.
Awesome.
Yeah. And then they boil it with, like, corn and all these spices, and they dump it out on the table. So then it's, Brooks demonstrates, okay, you got to rip this off, and you got to rip the tail off, and you got to pull it back so you can pull, like, this is graphic, pull the poop, like, tail, the intestine out or whatever.
Yeah.
So there's, like, 5 steps to get this little piece of meat or fish.
Yeah.
And I was like, cool, okay, so let me do one. And then I'm like, can you show me again? So then he, like, kind of does it while I'm watching. I ate it, and I'm like, okay, it's decent, but, like, I'm not gonna, it's just too much work. And I have to bug someone every one time because I can't remember how to do it. And so I ate some corn that was really spicy.
Oh, really?
Found that out after.
Did it, like, hurt your sunburn? And then you're just like, oh man, everything burns.
I don't think it made the sunburn worse, but I went upstairs and had more chicken nuggets.
Oh, nice.
He made these, like, homemade chicken nuggets that were amazing with Chick-fil-A sauce.
How was the Good Ranch's meat?
It was
truly amazing.
So I, like, the first meal I had was cold steak. But it was still good.
Yeah.
Thursday I can't remember what we had. Friday I didn't have the pulled pork sandwiches because it was Friday. I didn't eat meat.
Yeah.
And then Saturday was the chicken nuggets, and the chicken nuggets were amazing. But everything else, I wasn't, like, completely blown away.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't think I truly got a good equal tasting of it all.
Okay.
Because I missed out on some. But yeah, I mean, I wasn't. For a while, I was like, I kind of want to buy some. I had the thought to get some for, like, Mother's Day, and I'm like, this would be cool. Like, bring this. We can cook it up, like, at my parents' for Mother's Day, whatever.
Yeah.
And, like, that way I can try it, see how it is, and then see if my mom likes it, because maybe she'd buy some, whatever.
Yeah.
But down in Florida, I was like, yeah, it's fine. It wasn't, like, mind blowing. But then again, I don't think I got the full.
Yeah, that's true.
But
I want to like buy some and, like, maybe even get a subscription, but I don't have enough freezer space at the house right now. So once I buy a house, then I'll get some. Maybe.
I also, like, looked into it, and it was pretty expensive, which is maybe just how meat is. Maybe I just don't know.
I think meat's pretty expensive, especially if it's, like, good, like,
the
meat.
legit stuff. Yeah. Good ranchers.
American
good
meat. American meat.
Yeah. But then Saturday night we had they did the rubber bands game. I think I came in 7th. I was feeling pretty good about. This is one thing, like, this girl Laura kept, like, challenging me to, like, games to win rubber bands.
Oh yeah.
So we're doing the crawfish boil. We're all outside by the pool. She goes, if you jump in right now, fully clothed, what you're wearing, I'll give you all my rubber bands. I'm like, okay. And I start taking out my phone. I'm like, I'll do it. And she's like, wait, hold on. And I'm like, how many do you have? And it was like 18 or 20. I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Like, these clothes can dry. I have other clothes. Like, I don't care.
Yeah.
And so then, like, I think how quickly I said yes, she was kind of like, oh, this is too easy, whatever.
Yeah.
So then she's like, go see if you can get more from Brad, which is a mistake on my part, because I go up and ask him, and he's like, wait, you're seriously going to give him all your bands to do that? And everyone else was like, well, I'll do it, And I'm like, no, this is my thing. And I'm like, dang it, whatever.
Yeah, and ruined it.
Yeah. And all these, and then eventually she's like, I'll give you 5 bands. And I'm like, no, it's all or nothing. And I'm like, I'm not doing it unless you're giving giving them all to me. And then, like, we're all standing around the pool, like, playing catch with the football, whatever.
Yeah.
And the hot tub is connected with, like, a shorter wall to the pool. Yeah. And the ball landed over there, so I went across the wall to grab it. And I was over there, I was like, I gotta get off here because Laura's gonna push me in. And I started walking off, and she came and pushed me in. And my phone was in my pocket. And
shoot.
I've seen that the iPhone 13 is waterproof.
Yeah.
But I won't believe it until, like, I see it.
Yeah.
And so I was, like, falling in. I'm like, you idiot! My phone is. I have my phone.
Yeah.
And she's like, isn't it waterproof? And I took it out and I like set it down and I was like, if it's not waterproof, you owe me a new one. Dang. And then it eventually was was working right away. But I couldn't charge it that night, and that was the night like I got 2 hours of sleep. We flew out the next morning. I had to get up at 4. Like I had to set an alarm, so my phone had to work. Like, I had to go to bed knowing I had enough charge.
Oh, yeah. Why couldn't you charge it?
Because there was water in the port.
Oh,
you have to let it dry out. Like, if you plug it in, it's like, it won't connect,
Does
basically.
It ruin anything, or?
It just, like, it has, basically, you plug it in, and iPhone just, like, won't charge. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it's like, well, there's no point in plugging it in because it won't charge.
Yeah.
So then it's like, I was literally like unplugging it, like had it like pointing towards the fan, like as I was falling asleep for a bit.
Oh, yeah.
And so then I was like, hopefully, I was like, I think this is enough like charge to go to sleep tonight, knowing it'll not be dead when I wake up. My alarm will go off. And then I think the next morning I started charging it and it was fine.
Nice.
But,
that's fine though.
Yeah. But and then more traveling woes like coming home. I, like, same thing, went through Dallas, had a 9.5 hour layover, so I knew going in, and it was a bad travel day because I was limping everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
And I, like, left the airport. I was like, okay, I don't want to stay the whole time at the airport.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to Whataburger, because that's been on my list for a while.
Oh, nice.
Had that, and then just, like...
How was that?
It was really good. I almost went back and got another one, and I was like, should I bring one home? And I'm like, it's not the same, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's amazing, and it's what makes it is the sauce, the like honey butter sauce.
Yeah. Okay.
Delicious.
Dude, that kind of makes me want to go to Popeyes right now. I don't know, it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Have you
They're
ever had Popeyes?
Yeah.
Yeah. They're pretty good.
I've had a few of their items. The sandwich. Do they have strips?
I think they have strips. I usually get... I've only been a couple times because there's one in Coeur d'Alene.
Yeah.
But yeah, I usually get a sandwich. But the thing that gets me is like the mashed potatoes that they have because I don't know. I like mashed potatoes a lot. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, anyway, that was off topic. But yeah, that sounds really good right now.
Maybe you can. They're not close.
Exactly.
But yeah, so I basically like I leave the airport. I go to Whataburger. I stayed there for like 2 hours, just kind of like chilling. I'm like, I'm in no rush. Whatever.
Oh, yeah. Long layover? Or like long?
Yeah. 9.5 hours. And then it was delayed, so it was 10.5.
Jeez.
So I eventually leave Whataburger. I'm like, I'm going to go to a park. I'm just going to like sit down on the bench, whatever. Yeah. I'm outside. It's perfect weather. So I'm in Dallas. I've never been there. I Google like just parks nearby. And I find one. I'm like, cool. So I get an Uber to that location. So the guy's kind of asking, like, what are you doing here, blah, blah. And I'm like, I have a long layover. I'm just going to a park to chill. So we, like, pull up, and it is, I mean, it's like this, I want to say river, but they call it a canal, I think. So which I think basically means, like, dirty river. Like, it just doesn't look as good.
I don't know.
It's dirty water.
I mean, the canal in France was good. Yeah. It was pretty dirty.
I don't know if it's
Paris.
Drainage?
I think it's...
Or what?
I think it's just, like, a... man-made thing, maybe. I don't know. Maybe not. I could be wrong. There's no way of knowing or checking. But
you could be, because this one kind of ran through, and then there was like concrete, and it ran through like houses.
Yeah,
so man-made, I think.
Yeah, probably.
I don't think God put that when He made the river.
God didn't put the houses there, did He? I mean, God is man-made.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I have no idea what the difference between like maybe it's the width of it or. Like where it is, maybe.
Well, and like maybe where it comes from, because rivers feed to the ocean or come from the mountains.
The canals feed rivers that feed
other
lakes. Feed ponds.
Other mountains. I don't know. But anyways, we're pulling up, and this guy's like, "Is this where you want to go?" And I'm like, "I think so." And I'm like, honestly, I just like Googled parks, and he's like, "Yeah, I don't think you want this." He's like, "Well, like keep driving." Because, I mean, the spot was, like, we pull up, and it was, like, it looked like there was a gate, first of all.
Yeah. And
this driveway with a locked gate, and it looked like kind of where the, like, a Vista or somewhere where someone would have their, like, service area, like right on the water. Maybe there's a dam there. They have their like whatever facility.
Yeah.
And where he was going to drop me off was like that gate. He's like, I don't think you want this. I'm like, no, keep driving. So he's like, yeah, I'll drive down a little further. And then like now I'm thinking, I'm like, I don't want to like, but like he's doing this, like he's not being paid for this. So I'm like, I don't want to like tell him to keep driving or whatever. So I could have been like, I'll just like tip you more, just like keep going, we'll find a spot. But we like we're coming up to just this bench that's sitting kind of on the water. I'm like, this works. And just like, I'm not even questioning. I'm like, just drop me up here. This is fine. He's like, you sure? I'm like, yeah, it's good. Just like get out. I hobble over. Dang. And so I was sitting on the bench for a bit. And what sucked was my left foot was especially bad. And anytime that was directly in the sunlight, it was just burning.
Oh, gosh.
And so I couldn't sit on this park bench like comfortably. Yeah. And I literally like pulled out a sweatshirt from my bag and threw it over my foot to like kind of get some shade. But then that sweatshirt warmed up and then it was worse. Oh, gosh. And the other half was my phone was dying and I had nowhere to charge it. There was nowhere like at this quote unquote park to charge my phone. Dang. And so then I like go over and I'm laying under this tree where there was actually shade. And I'm like, I'm just gonna like, if I fall asleep here, that's fine. Yeah. But then I was like still uncomfortable. I'm like, now my back is sunburned too, and it's like not comfortable. I'm like, my phone, I need to charge my phone. Yeah. And because I can't be stuck with the dead phone, because then it's like,
can't Uber somewhere.
Exactly. And so I'm just like getting worried. And so I start like hobbling over to this bridge that goes over the canal, just looking for an outlet. Yeah. And there's nothing. So I cross the bridge to go over to the other side of the river where there's these houses now. There's a path by the canal. And I'm just looking for an outlet. There's nothing. I'm sitting under a tree again for some shade. And then I'm like, well, I could just stay here for a bit. And then eventually it just got to the point where I was just like not comfortable. Yeah. I'm like, I need to charge this phone. I'm not comfortable. Like, I'd rather be in an air-conditioned airport where I can charge, where I'm not, like, I'm already where I'm supposed to be. Yeah. So I just, like, called another Uber to get back to the airport, went back in 5 hours before my flight, and just sat there.
Yeah. Just doing nothing, sitting.
Yeah, just sitting. And then I think, like, I get there, I go to my gate, which is well before. Yeah. And they change the gate. And then I think they changed the gate like 6 times. Dang. And by the second one, I'm like, okay, I am going to sit right here where I am until 30 minutes before my flight because then I know it's that gate and they won't change it again. And then I do that. I go to my gate before my flight and there were like 4 different groups of people for 4 different flights at this gate. Oh my goodness. There's the people that are currently like boarding the plane. Yeah. There's other people who I think had a gate change there or from there, so they're confused as where they're supposed to be going. Oh yeah. There's my group, which was told we were here, but it's not on the board, and it's not for maybe another 45 minutes. Yeah. And then there's a group that doesn't fly out till like 3 hours because they got delayed. They're going to Buffalo, New York. Oh wow. And I'm like, they're getting in like after midnight if they're going 2 hours ahead to Buffalo, and it's not for taking off for a while. Dang. And so everyone at this gate was all confused.
Tired, confused.
Yeah. Probably. And sunburned, all of them. And I think they got on and they were announcing like all the confusion. Mm-hmm. And so everyone's listening. And they announced that our gate was going to be changed again. I was like, oh my gosh. And the guy next to me had the same reaction. I was like, are you going to Spokane? So then we were talking about it because we were both going. And so then it was like, okay, we're not moving, everyone else is, whatever. It was such a mess. Dang, and so then, crazy. Right then I was like, I am not gonna fly American Airlines again. Because that time I was like, I think this time is is American Airlines fault.
Yeah. Know? What else would it be? I mean, the weather was fine and everything. I mean, that sucks. I mean, American should figure it out.
Yeah, honestly.
I don't know how you would come up with that problem. I mean, I don't know how airports work, but
gotta work better apparently. Yeah. But yeah, I wrote down for that one 6 delays, 3 gate changes, 5 hours. Oh, that was the first. Sorry. So the flight coming home, 5 to 7 gate changes. I literally lost count. I was texting my mom. I was like, another one, and then I was like, I think another one, and then I was like, oh wait, that one didn't happen, and I was like, I lost track.
Yeah, you're like, I don't even know at this point.
And then 3 to 4 delays in the total of an hour on my way back.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awful.
Yeah. So, finally got home. But a few things that were like just funny about the trip. This has happened a few times while I fly. I flew from Dallas to Panama City, and then from Panama City to Dallas with the same couple.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because the first time, like, they just kind of stuck out to me because they were walking, like, from gate to gate with me.
Oh, yeah.
It was just like, oh, like, they look familiar. They're on the same flight as me. And they had matching shoes and they had matching hats that said Mr. and Mrs. So I was like, oh, they might be on their honeymoon or whatever.
Yeah.
And then we're at our gate in Panama City, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's the same couple.
That is so
I'm like,
funny.
I wonder, whatever. It's just kind of like, what are the chances?
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Was this like couple on the trip as you? They weren't on the trip as you?
No. They were in Panama City doing their own thing apparently.
That is pretty funny.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that is really funny.
So coincidental.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then a few other things I just wrote down that were funny about the flight. I was like, you get on the flight, everyone puts in their headphones and they're making their safety announcement, and I mean there's a few people that pay attention.
Yeah.
And I was sitting next to this older couple, and we all had our headphones in, and am pretty sure like they were making the safety announcement and they were just like turning up the volume, cause like I just like knew the volume of my movie and their thing, and then I'm like, they're making it louder, and I like took my headphones and I'm like, this is so loud, like they're petty and they're annoyed that we're not listening. Yeah. And they just kept making it louder, and I'm like, I didn't know they did that.
That is pretty funny. What the heck?
It's the first time I've seen that.
Yeah.
But
that's pretty funny.
And then I told you this, but the older couple did I move the camera?
No, it's good.
The older couple next to me at one point, like the wife pulls out peanut butter M&Ms.
Yeah.
And which already like they're really good, but they have a funky smell to them.
Yeah, yeah.
And then he pulls out like smoothie flavored Skittles.
Oh.
Which
what the heck?
Doesn't sound good.
Well, smoothie flavored. Like, what's the flavor of the smoothie?
I wonder if it's a mix of different fruits within one Skittle.
Probably.
I don't know. But
that's pretty funny.
Interesting flavors. But the smell of these two things was just, it was such a weird combo of smells to be smelling on an airplane. At first I'm like, what does that smell? And I like look over, I'm like, oh, I'm like, these are just interesting smells mixed in here for everyone else to smell.
Dang.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, that's the worst. I hate when you're like, I hate the smell that I'm smelling and I can't get out of it.
Yep. But that's pretty much what I have. I wrote down some other things, but I'll save them for another time. But I mean, it was kind of funny, the weather. Like Spokane's always off and on, but it was like rainy, I think, when I left. And then the first day I was not in Spokane, it was like 80 and sunny. Like our first real nice weather.
It was like April, right?
Yeah. And then like the day I got back, we got thunderstorms here that were kind of off and on for like a week. But it was like literally flip. Yeah. Like Florida got really crappy when I got there. And then the day we were gone, it was like back to nice sunny Florida weather.
That's but, like I wanted to go to nice weather.
Yeah. But honestly, it was fine because like, I love the pouring rain. I love thunderstorms. And like the second day I was sitting out on the porch, just like doing nothing, just sitting like watching the pouring rain, listening to the thunderstorm that was like right above us. Dang. And we got a nice day out of it at the beach. Yeah, that's good. And golfing wasn't that bad in the rain. And it was like, it was fine. It was great. Yeah. Looking back, like I'm fine with the amount of sun I got.
Yeah. Oh yeah, like, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
But
that's wild.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It was a great time though. Yeah. They're already talking about doing another one, and
which I want to go do this time.
Yeah, the August one.
No, I don't want to go. Well, I'd like to go to the August one, but I mean, I'm not gonna go to that one.
Yeah.
But the other like trip that they're doing that they've said they booked but aren't telling people yet. Love to go to that one.
Yeah.
Which do you think you would go to that one?
I think so. Yeah. I can't go to August. But it's like the busiest. I have something every day that weekend.
Dang.
But yeah.
I can't like. I not stomach. I guess I can't stomach like going somewhere for like 2 days or 3 days.
Yeah,
it's like, across, I don't know, across country.
Kansas City.
Yeah.
And flights into Kansas City have got to be pretty expensive.
Maybe.
It is
it a...
Well, actually, maybe they're cheaper if it's a major airport. Yeah, I think that's the other way. I don't know. Whatever.
I don't know.
But
yeah, I mean, I'm sure it would still be fun.
Yeah.
I would actually. I mean, I'd love to go to it, but I've already missed a lot of like work time.
Yeah.
For trips and.
That's true.
I don't know. Then I have there's some other like smaller trips that I want to do. Celine and I want to do this summer.
Nice.
So.
Nice.
But yeah, so I want to go to their other one.
Yeah.
But
should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it sounds like a blast, and like even meeting Jake and Brad, like that sounds awesome and stuff. And I mean, we've already met Jake and stuff, and I've met Jake and whatnot, and he's awesome.
Yeah,
really cool guy. Brad sounds like he's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
And like getting to know them on like a more personal level and stuff, and like actually hanging out with them for multiple days and whatnot.
Yeah,
that sounds like
seeing them in that element.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because then it's like you're just like telling them about, you come upstairs and you tell them real quick about the weird thing that happened when you were changing your shirt, or like just these tiny little things, but like it's something like I would tell you if I was on a trip with you, but it's like, oh, this is like, I'm just telling him like he's my friend now. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, it's good. You notice this weird lock on the bathroom door or something,
Speaking of locks, one of the airports, there was a lock on the urinal. And it wasn't like, I took a picture of it because I was so confused at like what it did, but it was a padlock like for a key.
Yeah.
And it was just like on the urinal
itself,
on the like top water contraption or whatever. I was like, I don't know like what this does, but
that is pretty funny.
Pretty confused by it. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, it was weird.
That's funny.
Meant to send it to you and Isaiah. Yeah. It's like, what is the purpose of this?
Yeah.
Anyways, that's my trip, so.
People are opening up the urinal. People are opening up the urinals.
We gotta stop them.
Yeah. That's funny. That's cool. Sounds like a fun trip.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Do you have anything else? Or?
That's all I've got. You got anything?
I mean, I have stuff. I have some stories and whatnot. Let's see. What time are we at?
We're at 1:08, so.
1:08. Let's see. So I went to work at right behind Pine Acres, which is the driving range, one of the driving ranges over here, our golf courses, and we were working like right behind it at our job site and stuff, and it's like Pine Acres has to like fix their net or something. Honestly, if we go there today, I think I might mention it to them because they have a net back there, but they have a section where there's no net and stuff, and they're building apartments right there. Yeah. And there's like plenty of golf balls that fly over. We saw a couple while we were working. I've collected 20 golf balls while I've been in there, and I've only been there for like a couple days here and there. Wow. And stuff. So like they're gonna get sued or something. Yeah, yeah. Anyway, so like my journeyman's truck is probably 320 yards away from the driving range, maybe 350 around there. He has his windows down or whatever, and so we're like in one of the ditches and stuff because we're putting in the like the underground drains and whatnot. Anyway, so we go to break at 9:00, and then we come back. And then we go to lunch, and so we go to lunch at like noon. He gets in his truck or whatever, opens up his truck, and he's like, "Did one of you guys put this golf ball inside like one of my like hole saws or whatever?" And we're like, "No," because he knew I was like collecting some and stuff. And I'm like, "No." And so what happened, or what he says happened, is a golf ball must have like got hit like from someone at the driving range, flew over the truck I was driving and bounced and flew into his truck, hit off the top of the roof, and then landed in his cab or whatever, which is wild.
It went in the cab?
It went in like the cab of his truck.
Wow.
Inside of his truck.
Yeah. Because the cab connects to the back.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It was the back window that was open.
Okay.
And stuff.
Jeez.
I might be using cab wrong. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
But it went inside of his truck and like through his window, and we're like, that is like, I don't know how
Yeah.
I believe that because like our trucks
Yeah.
are pretty close.
Jeez.
So, yeah, he was just saying, he was like, if that would have like shattered my window, he looked at me, he was like, I would have blamed you because earlier I was like, man, I wonder if anybody's truck has ever gotten hit and stuff, and so it was wild. I don't know if I mean, I believe him, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know if that's possible.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
but it was crazy.
I guess it is possible, but the chances are very slim.
Yeah. So, I mean, I believe him. But
Yeah.
anyway, if we go there today, I think I might tell Pine Acres about it.
Yeah.
And talk to them.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what I got. So,
Damn.
I mean, I have other stuff, but we can save it for the next episode.
Yeah. I got other stuff. We'll save it for next time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's good, sufficient.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we're recording in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So we'll have a good amount of stuff, and I think John Luca will be on that.
Yeah, we're gonna have my brother John Luca.
Yep.
On, and yeah, we're trying to do it every other week for now.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Hope you enjoyed.
Yeah. This is Breakfast Balls.
Yeah. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.